Heavy rain continues to fall across much of our state. We have team coverage tonight, taking you to the areas hardest hit.
Time is supposed to heal all wounds.
Our loss and our pain, that part never goes away.
For the family of Kendrick Castillo, who was killed in the 2019 STEM school shooting, only action will do the healing.
Try to make the school district where Kendrick lost his life the safest it can be.
Tonight, Denver 7 Investigates goes in depth on funding to keep our kids safe.
Why is it taking so long for this money to be spent?
And finds out how Douglas County is spending money it promised would go back into schools.
I understand that they want it spent quickly, but we are treating every dollar like it's our own.
All right, let's begin with our Denver 7 Weather Action Day. Storms all over the state pretty much all day long. We've seen strong flows from the Big Thompson River near Drake. We saw hail near Blackhawk flooding throughout Highlands Ranch in Douglas County. And then dark clouds and some pretty heavy rain here in Denver.
It's been a mess out there this evening, and this is a live look right now at our CDOT camera through Glenwood Canyon. Both directions of I-70 from Dot Zero to Glenwood Springs are closed because of flash flood warning in the area.
All right, glad you're with us tonight watching Denver 7 News at 6. I'm Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Jessica Porter, and you can see on the radar behind us, these storms are sticking around for much of the evening.
And we have team coverage for you tonight. Megan Lopez in Castle Rock looking at the impact there.
But we begin with Chief Meteorologist Mike Nelson. Mike, still very active out there this evening.
A very busy radar at this hour, although the heaviest of the storms have moved off to the east of the Denver area. They came through here between about 2:30 and 4:30 this afternoon. See that line of storms off to the east of us. As far as conditions along the Front Range, we still have the flash flood warnings in effect for at least another 15 to 30 minutes along the areas that were hit with the heaviest rain. It's still raining here, but not nearly as much as it did earlier, where we had rainfall at a rate of 1 to 2 inches every 30 minutes. The leading edge continues to be out toward Lyman and extending up toward the Fort Morgan area. The warnings have been lifted currently in the Glenwood, or in the Big Thompson Canyon area as far as the flash flood warnings. Earlier on this afternoon along the Cameron Peak burn scar, some big trouble there. But we do have on the burn scars off to the west of us quite a bit of flash flood concerns, Grizzly Creek and also the Lake Christine burn scar. All of this coming in as a rich monsoon flow of moisture from the south is pushing in to Colorado, interacting with a weather front, and the result is a lot of rain. This is a view currently from our camera up at Avon, looking up at the Beaver Creek ski area. A lot of heavy rain up that way. Earlier, a lot of heavy rain down in the Castle Rock area. And for more details on the aftermath, let's go to Megan Lopez. Megan?
Hey there, Mike. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago that it was raining really hard in this area. The weather just can't seem to make up its mind. It rained really hard for just a short amount of time, ended up flooding this area that you see behind me, kind of near the Castle Rock outlets and in between those and like the Castle Rock Hospital. So 2 cars actually got stuck in that. One of them was a BMW, pretty small, and the police that I spoke to said that the water actually got above that BMW's wheels, so they had to pull one person out of that car. There was a second car that was an SUV. That one had a mom and a baby in it. They also got the mom and the baby out of that. We got here right as they were getting ready to tow those cars away. Luckily, all of that water, all of that flooding receded pretty quickly, but something that did happen was some of the landscaping in this area kind of got flooded onto the roadway. So the city of Castle Rock actually had to call out some street sweepers in order to clean the streets, clean the area. And in the meantime, it did cause a little bit of headaches for people trying to get back into this area because they had to go around and be diverted in it. And this is not a very big area to begin with. So it did cause some traffic backup, some headaches around those outlets for just a little bit. But now everything is nice and calm. The rain just starting to come down a little bit again. We also heard of some flash flooding that was happening in Lone Tree. So unfortunately, it's just going to be a wet night for us here in Castle Rock.
All right, glad everything is cleaned up. Thank you, Megan. And we've been getting videos into the Denver 7 newsroom all afternoon long, like this one from Rosamond Park in southeast Denver. You can see just how much the gulch there has overflowed from all of the rain we've gotten. And you can send your weather videos to the Denver 7 Facebook page. We'd love to see them. We have a live blog with all the impacts from this evening's rain right now on thedenverchannel.com.
A Jefferson High School student in Greeley has been arrested on first-degree assault after police say this student stabbed another student several times. It happened at school about 11:45 this morning. The victim is expected to survive. Police say this was an isolated incident and say there is no ongoing threat.
School safety is a priority of state and local leaders. So tonight we're having a 360 in-depth conversation on what's being done to keep your kids safe.
Now, in the days following the STEM school shooting in Highlands Ranch in 2019, the Doug Coast School Board pledged millions of dollars for safer schools.
Last year, Denver 7 Investigates found only a small fraction of those dollars were spent.
Well, tonight, investigative reporter Jennifer Kovaleski continues our 360 in-depth reporting following your money and the safety of our students.
We're in Kendrick's room. Yeah, we have it set up and kind of left everything the way it was. The medals are from Best Robotics, First Robotics.
They say that time heals wounds.
I don't think it really does in our case. It's there. It's a constant reminder.
For John Castillo, the pain never goes away.
It just hits you like a brick sometimes.
3 years ago, his son Kendrick tried to stop one of the shooters at the STEM school in Highlands Ranch. Kendrick lost his life trying to save his friends.
Kendrick received that for his heroic actions on May 7th.
Just days after the deadly shooting, Douglas County commissioners pledged $10 million to improve school security and mental health.
All in favor, state aye.
Aye. $6 million went to public schools for safety. Last year, Denver 7 Investigates found a vast majority of the money hadn't been spent.
Why has only $1 million of that money been spent more than a year later?
Because there's multiple projects, and with COVID, everything was pushed back.
Back then, the district blamed the COVID shutdown. Fast forward, more than a year later, and we took our questions to Douglas County's new head of school security.
Where is that money today?
I believe when I came on, about $1 million had been spent, and we've spent about $3 million in this past year.
Johnny Grusing is a former federal agent in charge of security for Colorado's third largest school district.
Why has it taken so long for this money to be spent?
So we did not want to spend it quickly just to spend it. And when I came in, even though this was new to me, I knew that this was in response to STEM, and I knew how valuable this money was. So I wanted to spend it wisely.
He says the district has spent more than half the money.
Do you believe the district is in a better place today if there were to be another tragedy?
Yes, the district is in a better place, and we're continuing to improve. And we learned some lessons from STEM.
The biggest lessons came in the form of radio communication.
Walked every square foot of our high schools and 2 of our big charters, STEM and Skyview, to make sure there's not one spot in the school where they don't get good radio coverage.
Grusing says all 9 of the district's high schools and 2 big charter schools have improved radio communication between police and the school district. Critical communication if there were to be another school shooting. Those upgrades cost close to $2 million. The district also spent $500,000 on exterior door alarms in the high schools.
Know when doors are open longer than they should be. It was one of the STEM findings, and even we also study recent events as well, like what happened in Uvalde.
Grusing says they've also equipped outside windows with bulletproof film.
I really believe that the school district is on the right path to spending that money appropriately now.
Laura Thomas is one of the commissioners who voted to give the district the money.
Do you think the school district has done a better job in spending that money since our original reporting on this issue?
I do think that the school district has done a better job.
The district still has $2 million left to spend.
This is his pennyweight plane.
And while it's too late for Kendrick,
I'm glad to see that some things are being done to make the schools safer in Douglas County.
his father still questions why it's taken this long to spend the money.
I feel that they could have done a better job with using that money and doing it in a more rapid manner to create safe schools.
Castillo wants more transparency and says making schools safer is the best way to honor his son.
Try to make the school district where Kendrick lost his life the safest it can be.
The district says it plans to reallocate $1.5 million to put in door alarms and radio amplifiers in the middle and elementary schools. The remaining $500,000 will be spent on existing projects. I'm Denver 7 investigative reporter Jennifer Kovaleski.
Denver Public School District also focused on safety this school year. For this upcoming year, all schools now will have secure doors that will trigger an alarm when someone enters from the outside or when they're propped open for too long. DPS also replaced 900 cameras over the summer and added 1,200 more. Now, Boulder Valley schools implemented similar technology last year. Teachers in the Cherry Creek School District also will now be able to lock their classrooms with just the push of a button.
We told you what's happening at the district level. There is also work happening at the state level to make our schools safer. This past legislative session, state lawmakers passed a bill to put more resources into a school safety task force. The group was originally created in 2020 following an audit of the state's school safety efforts. That audit happened following the STEM school shooting. That task force never fully got off the ground, so this bill allocates money to the task force to help it get started. The passage of the bill requires their first meeting be held by the end of the year.
Well, several people were hurt this morning when that happened. An RV crashed into a Wenchell's donut house in Lakewood. This is the Wenchell's at West Colfax and Pierce. Lakewood police and store owners say the injuries don't appear to be life-threatening, but they also aren't sure how many people were hurt. Police say surveillance video does not indicate reckless driving here. All lanes of I-70 back open tonight after a tanker truck started leaking a flammable liquid this morning. Westbound lanes were closed near E470 for much of today. Crews were able, though, to get the highway safely cleaned up. The state wants you to ride RTD for free this month.
There just isn't much communication is all as to why they're delayed.
Riders we spoke to say a free ride doesn't make up for unreliability.
Plus, these Broncos fans have been through a lot. Today, they had a chance to leave their struggles behind.